Hi, my name is Aunjanue Ellis, and I'm in studio with The Hollywood Reporter.
Well, this is so exciting. I mean, you could have just said your name and Emmy nominee,
Oh.
but that would have been maybe a little too much, but I can say it.
Okay.
You're an Emmy nominee. How does that feel?
Thank you. Weird? Is that allowed?
Yes.
Can I say that?
You can
'Cause
say
that's
that.
honest. It feels weird. Let me just start from saying this. I still can't believe that Ava cast me in the series in the first place. So I'm still in that headspace. So anything beyond that is just, what is that term they use in Louisiana and New Orleans? Lagniappe? Like it's bonus. You know what I mean? Like an unexpected bonus. That's what this feels. So I can't wrap my mind around it a little bit because I'm still stuck on that I was on a conference, not a FaceTiming with her like a year ago this time.
Well, you got to tell me about that because I wanted to ask you. I know you took out your phone, made a little note of the things that will never happen in your life, and Ava DuVernay was on that list.
Yes,
So
she was.
tell me the backstory of that list and what you wrote down.
Well, I don't know about you, but I go through periods in my profession where I feel like this is not what my mother imagined for me, And I was having one of those days, and it was just a pity party with balloons and music and everything. And so I was just like, these are the things that will never happen in my life. And I don't know what the other 2 or 3 were, but that was one of them. And 2 weeks later, I was in that same apartment and on a FaceTime call with her. This was almost a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, completely unexpected, totally unexpected.
So you write it down. I'll never work with her. And why her? I mean, obviously, like I think I know why, but why did you put her name down that day?
For me, I want to work with visionaries, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm grateful for every job I get. I think every time someone hires me, I'm utterly grateful. I feel like I've won the lottery every time because not everybody gets to act. But having said that, it is what I do. It is how I pay my bills. It is how I take care of my family. And I don't want to just be a workhorse. I want my purpose to meet my paycheck. And so working with visionaries is a part of that, fulfillment for me.
I know that there's always a responsibility that comes when you're playing a real person,
Yeah.
but for you even more so. So talk to me about how you prepare to slip into her shoes.
Yeah, I feel, because I've kind of done this a lot, and I've done it a lot lately, the last couple years, playing people who, dead and alive, who walk this earth. And like you said, there is a particular responsibility to do that because you want to honor that person as much as you can, especially if your legacy means something, their legacy means something to you beyond your playing them. And what happened to these children meant something to me beyond just playing a role. I feel that when they see us is an act of restorative justice. It's justice too late, but it is restorative. And Ava, executed that so wonderfully. But I did talk to Miss Salam probably a year ago, and it was one of the most significant phone calls I have ever had. Miss Salam, I think of her in the same way that I think of Angela Davis, in the same way that I think of Assata Shakur. I mean, my sort of tagline for her is she was a warrior waiting for a movement, and unfortunately the movement had to be our own son.
That was a true warrior moment.
Yes.
And, this is difficult, necessary viewing, but that moment was one that stood out to me so much of just like, it just, made me pump my fist in my apartment by myself, like, do it. Tell me what it was like to film that particular scene, because it's one of the only moments in that brutal, well, besides, there are some beautiful moments in the beginning, but that moment just, you gives you a little bit of hope that is soon dashed, but there's hope there in that moment. So tell me about shooting that.
Well, it was hard. I don't know other way but it wasn't hard for the reasons that I felt like it was difficult to do because of this, because the emotion that came with your son being in a room that he shouldn't have been in, and you having to literally pull him out of that room, wrest him from the hands of the police department. You know, it went beyond that. It was more for me about how do you play something that is so emotionally charged and has such an emotional burden, but you don't face it emotionally. Because if you do that, no one wants to see that. Because even when there are tender moments, there are high-charged moments, but the genius, I think, of the other actors, I can't speak for, I'm not addressing me, but I saw the scene between Niecy and Jarrell Jerome when he's being taken from her, you know, and how she handled that. And he was one way and she was another way, you know? And that's what I was trying to do. I had to sculpt what I did so people would listen to me. And I was just wanted to get that right. So it was a lot of takes.
How did you decompress while you were filming? Because it is so emotionally taxing. Where did you go? What did you do just to sort of bring a little bit of levity?
For me, I have to say that it wasn't hard. I didn't feel like I needed to decompress afterwards for two reasons. One is that, you know, yeah, it's hard, it's emotional, but so what? They lived it.
Right.
They lived it. You know, so what? I get a little emotional. I'm paid for it. First of all.
Purpose meets paycheck.
Yes, you understand? I'm paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
It is an honor for me to do this. So there's all of that. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm a little beklempt today. I'll get over it.
Yeah.
These folks had to like wait for their children to come back to them for years.
For years and years,
Exactly. Yeah. And the other part of it is I was dealing with my own loss at the time. So going to work and being able to cry and not do that in the street where people would thought I was losing my mind, it was really cathartic for me.
And we have to talk about one other scene that you have too, and I think one of the beautiful things about watching the whole When They See Us team walk through this experience and people asking Ava questions about Donald Trump and all of these situations is it's not about him, but there is a scene that you're in that is about him, and it's, you know, I watched it again last night and it was just as hard for me to watch last night as it was the first time, but you say, you know, the devil wants to kill my son, and then, you know, the woman in the room with you says his 15 minutes will be up soon, and they're not. So how do you feel about that, and what is your perspective on him in that moment and him today?
One of the boys was asked that question, and they said that, well, you know, he's just only a small part of this. He's just only a small part of this, and I'm going to piggyback on that. Because if we collapse into that, then these young men will be erased again. Now here's the thing, that he is a problem for the ages, that we will yet, our other generations, further generations will still be reckoning with the mistake I feel that this country made by electing him. However, he's not just the problem. Millions of people put him in office. So it's more of a statement about, you know, those millions than it is really about him. So
many actors would love and probably pay and maybe hurt somebody to work with Ava and also Jordan Peele, and you've now done both. So talk to me about your work with Jordan.
Well, I haven't seen Jordan. Jordan, why don't you come to set, because I want to see you. I'm doing Lovecraft Country with Misha Green, who's also a genius, also a visionary. It's based on the book Lovecraft Country, and it is sci-fi, it is horror, it is the civil rights movement, it is Josephine Baker, it is Afrofuturism. It's all these things, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. We will all find out at the same time, but I'm so excited to do it. So excited to be a part of that.
Well, I'm so excited for you, and I'm also excited for that upcoming award show. Are you ready?
Well, I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, you're gonna be here.
Whether, what I'm gonna have on, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna show up.
Yeah, well, I can't wait
Yes.
for you. So deserve it.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on everything when they see us. And
Thank
if you guys want to
you.
check it out, it's now streaming on Netflix. And my friend, thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me.